Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, August audience in this rain. But we are very appreciative of the fact that you have made time to come. I request everybody to please stand up for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उच्चल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे गावे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you. We'll start with the program for today. We'll request following dignitaries to please take the dais. Rajendra Kumar Mishra, sir. Tarun Sharma, DMD Exim Bank. Satish Wagh, sir. Brijen Chaudhary, sir. If you can please take the dais. Good morning, sir. As a token of our appreciation, we'll request Tarun sir to please felicitate our dignitaries. Request Tarun sir to felicitate Rajesh Kumar Mishra sir with our one small bouquet. Request Tarun sir to please felicitate Satish Wagh sir, Chairman ChemExcel. Request Tarun sir to please felicitate Brijen Chaudhary sir. Okay. Thank you everyone. Please be seated. So we'll start the event with opening remarks and setting the context by Shri Amrish Bhandari sir, General Manager, Credit Appraisal Group, Exim Bank. Shri Amrish Bhandari sir possesses over 2 decades of extensive work experience in banking and financial service sector. In India, Exim Bank, he has joined in 2007, and over the last 2 decades, he has been at various portfolios and served in various capacity across corporate banking, project export, treasury, and accounts at head office. Currently, he leads the Credit Appraisal Group, heading the bank's flagship project exports program. His leadership profile includes managing major regional offices in Chennai and Mumbai. Prior to this, he worked as NBFC along with private and public sector commercial banks. He brings along a vast experience over decades, and will request Amrish sir to please come and give his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. Good morning and warm welcome to all distinguished guests, industry leaders, exporters, representatives from government agencies, ChemExcel members and colleagues from Exim Bank. It is indeed privilege to welcome you on this seminar on catalyzing chemical export, trade finance and market access. I would like to extend a special welcome to our esteemed speaker and dignitaries who have joined today with us. Their experience and insight will encourage and enrich our discussion and provide valuable perspective for the industry. The Indian chemical industry today stands at a crucial juncture. Over a past decade, it has emerged one of the key pillars for Indian manufacturing ecosystem and significant contributor to the country's export basket. The sector is not only cater to wide range of industry, including pharma, auto, agriculture, textile. It's also play a vital role in strengthening India's industrial competitiveness. Globally, supply chain has undergone significant transformation. Companies across the world increasingly looking to diversify their sourcing destination, build larger relevant supply chain network, reduce dependency and over a limited number of geography, and it involving landscape presents a unique opportunity for Indian chemical industry and exporter to expand their footprint in international market. However, this opportunity to sustain export growth required addressing several critical challenges: market access barrier involving regulatory requirement, compliance standard, logistic efficiency, and to outcome all these global market today depend not only on the product quality and pricing, but also on the ability and rapidly changing international trade and environment. This precisely why the workshop of such today's seminar assume great significance. The objective is not merely a discussion opportunity, but also deliberate on the practical solution that can help business scale up their export presence. We are fortunate to have senior representative from DGFT, Central Bureau of Narcotics, Industrial Exports, beside Exim Bank, who will share the insight of policy initiative, regulatory process, and export promotion measures. As a country's premier export finance institution, Exim Bank remain committed to the supporting Indian companies through a comprehensive range of financing advisory and market development solution. Our aim is to partnering with exporters at every stage with their growth journey and help them to access new market. My colleague will explain how Exim Bank supports Indian exporters in capacity building, R&D, finding out new geographies to export, working capital, and even the factoring also. Today, agenda has been designed to provide a participants actionable insight ranging from export and regulatory compliance to finance solution and leveraging free trade agreement. I am confident this interaction will come out with the equipped partnership and participation with the valuable knowledge. I thank all participant to join and wish you healthy and engage yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Amrit sir. Moving on, we will request Dr. Satish Wag sir, Chairman, ChemExcel, for welcome remarks. Sir, Dr. Satish is a visionary technocrat, first generation entrepreneur, and the director of Supriya Life Sciences Limited. He has an illustrious 38-year legacy in global pharmaceutical leadership. Dr. Wag founded Supriya Life Sciences in 1987, and under his stewardship, the company has transformed into a debt-free, world-class, active pharmaceutical ingredient powerhouse that exports to over 128 countries. Beyond his corporate achievements, he has distinguished 24 years tenure as a chairman of ChemExcel. His extraordinary contributions have earned his numerous prestigious national accolades, including National Award for Best Entrepreneur from the Prime Minister of India. He holds a BSc in Chemistry and Economics from Bombay University and an honorary PhD in Entrepreneurship from Harvard University. With these, I will request sir to please come and provide his lecture. Sir.
Good morning. Shri Rajesh Kumar Mishra, Additional Director General of Foreign Trade. Shri Dinesh Bisin, Narcotics Commissioner, Mumbai, India. Shri Brijen Chaudhary, Deputy Narcotics Commissioner, and Tarun Sharma, Deputy Managing Director, India, Exim Bank. Distinguished dignitaries from India Exim Bank, DGFT, and the Central Bureau of Narcotics. Esteemed exporters, members of the trade fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to this workshop of catalyzing chemical exports, trade, finance, and market access. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to India Exim Bank for collaborating with ChemExcel in organizing this important workshop, for their generous support in marketing this program possible. Exim Bank has been one of India's most trusted institutions for promoting international trade. Through its comprehensive financial solution, market intelligence, research, and advisory services, the bank has played a pivotal role of helping Indian exporters expand into the global markets. The session today is on the export potential of the chemical industry, and the Exim Bank's financial solutions will provide valuable insights to exporters and on accessing finance, managing global business risk, and exploring new international opportunities. I am confident that our members will greatly benefit from the expertise shared by the Exim Bank team. Friends, India's chemical industry is among the country's largest manufacturing sectors and a major contributor to India's exports. At global markets continue to evolve, comprehensive today depends on only the product quality but also for the efficient logistics, timely deliveries, access to the finance, regulatory compliance, and market intelligence. It is therefore essential that we continuously build capabilities that enable our exporters to compete with the best of the world. It is in this direction I would like to share one of the ChemEx's most significant initiatives being developed under the DGFT flow, facilitating logistics, overseas warehousing and fulfillment of the scheme. ChemExcel is working towards establishing a global warehousing and fulfillment network for Indian chemical exporters. The objective is to develop common overseas warehousing facilities in key international markets so that the exporters can maintain inventory closer to customers and move from the traditional ship from India model to a more responsible is ship from the market approach. In addition, ChemExcel proposes to establish ChemExcel marts in strategically important global locations. These marts will act as dedicated platforms for the showcasing Indian chemical products, facilitating buyer-seller interactions, supporting business development activities, and creating a stronger and more visible presence for the Indian manufacturers in the international market. Together, these initiatives have the potential to transform to the export ecosystem for the Indian chemical industry. They will reduce delivery lead times, optimize logistics costs through the consolidated shipments, improve supply chain efficiency, enhance customer confidence, and enable exporters to respond more quickly to the market demand. Most importantly is these initiatives will be highly beneficial to our MSME exporters. Many small and medium enterprises manufacture world-class products but are unable to establish independent overseas warehousing due to the cost of high investments. Under the flow scheme, warehousing and fulfillment of the facilities will provide MSMEs access to international logistic infrastructure at affordable cost, enabling them to expand into new markets, compete effectively with larger global players, and secure larger and recurring export orders. Today's workshop also includes important session on the voluntary code of the conduct for scheduled chemicals and unlocking export opportunities through free trade agreements. These initiatives will help exporters improve compliance, discover new market opportunities, and make better use of the support available from the government for expanding their global business. I encourage all participants to actively interact with our distinguished speakers, seek clarifications, and make the most of the knowledge and networking opportunities available today. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for this lecture. We have been highly enlightened by your views. Moving on, we welcome Vishal Ganju, sir, ED ChemExcel, for joining us on the dais. Thank you so much, sir. We'll request Tarun sir to felicitate Ganju sir, please, with the token of appreciation. Vishal sir. Moving on, I would request Tarun sir, DMD Exim Bank, for an inaugural address. Tarun Sharma is the current DMD of Exim Bank. Earlier, he has worked as a CFO of Exim Bank and has carried out various technology as well as policy initiatives for the bank. He has worked in as a consultancy alignment with World Bank, and of course in the bank he has been at various levels. Hello, is it okay now, sir? If you can just reduce the bass, I think it's reverberating. Hello, is it okay now, sir? Misha sir, is it okay now? Okay. Moving on, I will request Tarun sir, DMD Exim Bank, to please give his inaugural address. Tarun Sharma is current DMD of Exim Bank. Earlier, he had worked as the Chief Financial Officer of the bank. He has, over the years, carried on various technology initiatives as well as has been the frontrunner for various programs, initiatives that has been launched by Exim Bank in last decade. Sir has also authored a book on Project Export. He has earlier a consultancy assignment with World Bank. Over the last 3 decades, bank has been, and as general policy parameters have been set at various levels, which has, of course, helped the bank and as well as various exporters in carrying out, taking risk at various departments, inward as well as overseas. Would request Tarun sir to please come on stage and deliver his inaugural address. Sir.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members on the dais, R.K. Mishra Sahab, Wagh Sahab, Chaudhary Sahab, and Ganju Sahab. It's such a pleasure here. Kal raat se barsat ho rahi hai, but I was a little happy because for me, being a hardcore Mumbaikar or a Bombayite, rains meant something special. Starting of school, starting of new things. So बहुत अच्छा है, chemical industry के लिए भी बरसात अच्छी है, lakes भी भर रहे हैं. And, I've been with the Exim for about 30 years now. And जब से हमने chemical industry देखना, when, I started looking at what the portfolio is, chemical industry has been sort of a mainstay in our portfolio on industry support. काफ़ी समय से हम सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं पिछले 40-50 वर्षों 45 वर्षों से. And if you look at some statistics, and I'll just read out a few numbers, it contributes very significantly, about 8 or a little over 8% of India's manufacturing global value add in FY24. That's the latest available figure. और अगर आप growth देखें तो 2021 से 2024 तक it's grown at a CAGR, a compounded annual growth rate of over 16%. We are the 6th largest chemical producer globally and accounting for about a little less than 3% of global chemical sales. Exports performance bhi acha raha hai. So, if we look at total merchandise exports, we've done over 7% is contributed by the chemical industry. अगर आप देखें FY26 में, so it's about $32 billion contribution, and it has grown at a little less than 5% over the last 8 to 9 years. Another interesting fact is chemical industry is exporting to over 200 markets. But जिसमें share America का, the United States of America, is 13%. And tapering off, less than half is at number 2. So Brazil is around 6.4%, China is 5.7%, Netherlands at 4%. Now the reason is that there is a heavy reliance on the US. And why I'm saying this is because in today's day and age with geopolitical tensions, with tariff measures, आज सवेरे ही हम यहाँ पर आ रहे थे, so I was traveling from Mahalakshmi to here and I saw on the news that, there's 200% tariff hit by the US on the pharmaceutical industry. So it's continuing to happen. Protectionist measures are there. And while we've done remarkably well in the chemical industry over the last 2 or 3 decades, there are a number of challenges that we see ourselves facing. Opportunities भी बहुत हैं, supply chain diversification है global buyers का, we are looking to expand free trade agreements. Partners are also looking at trusted sources. But if you look at the challenge, one major challenge in the industry today is R&D. If you look world over, the global spend on R&D is roughly about 10%, anywhere between 9 to 10%. Bharat Varsh mein, it is between 2 to 3%. That's a huge anomaly. And we need to do more on the R&D spend and look to grow this industry to a number one position. There's a lot of indigenous innovation happening, but how do we increase that, make it, look at better proprietary technologies and make it grow? The second challenge, as I see it, is finance available for trade, for exports. And if you look at, again, a very quick statistic, if you look at banking credit has grown at about 10.4% CAGR over the last 2 years. But जहाँ तक अगर हम इसका देखें, chemical industry का, so it has been significantly lower. It has actually dipped by 5%, a little over 5%, almost 5.5%. So the money coming into the chemical industry for export credit is diminished, whereas the industry is growing. Now, when I spoke about the 200 markets that we are exporting to, these are these smaller markets, chota ho raha hai. But if you look at one way to tackle the geopolitical challenges, it is essentially to go to untapped, challenging markets, the non-traditional markets that the chemical industry is normally exporting to. Wagh Saab spoke about, the efforts that Chemexcel also is making in terms of setting warehouses. How do we go beyond? How do we do much more? How do we support the endeavor of Chemexcel? Is by entering new markets. So today you'll hear from one of my colleagues who's here, who's going to make a presentation on this program called Trade Assistance Program. हमने 4 साल पहले शुरू किया, and we've now done over 3,000 transactions. We've entered over 60 new markets. We've helped exporters from over 22 different cities, 22 different states in about 65 cities. We've set up partnerships with over 170 banks in these 60 plus countries overseas. The idea is, how do we tell an MSME or a mid to large corporate that go to this market, we are standing with you. It's on a non-recourse basis कि अगर buyer पैसे नहीं देता, हम कैसे आके आपको support करते हैं. In fact, when we were engaging with the Department of Commerce and DGFT, this whole idea of how do we try and help the exporter reach those new markets found reasonable discourse within the government ecosystem, and this trade assistance program is now part of the export promotion mission, which is a fantastic initiative by the government. One thing that we at the operation level are guilty of is that we are not spreading enough awareness of the benefits of that program. So today you will hear about what we are doing under FTAs, the entire Indian initiative on FTAs, what is happening on EPM, and how do Indian exporters take benefit of those programs? How do we reach out to those new markets? And with this, use this as a leverage to grow and become larger, become more competitive, become more profitable, make a larger impact to society, create more jobs. इसके साथ साथ हमने एक फैक्टरिंग सब्सिडरी भी खोली हुई है. इन द फैक्टरिंग सब्सिडरी वी आर सपोर्टिंग while trade assistance program or emerging export opportunities is related to documentary credit. The factoring subsidiary is looking at open trade transactions. तो हम invoice purchase करते हैं, again non-recourse basis. Advantage क्या है कि अगर आप एक मार्केट में जा रहे हो जहाँ पे आप बायर को बहुत अच्छे से पहचानते नहीं हो, where you don't know that buyer, how do you go and export? And if the buyer or the buyer's bank fails to pay you, we are standing with you on that transaction. We will ensure that the payment is made to you within 5 days of the LC maturity. So that's the kind of advantage that Exim Bank, DGFT and the Department of Commerce are bringing to you. Chemexcel is bringing a further set of initiatives to help this industry grow and become more meaningful. I'll pause here. There are a lot of illuminaries here today. We've got, a very distinguished gentleman in the form of Dr. Wagh, who's had such a long-ranging experience over 35 years in the industry, and we have to benefit from, what he has to offer in terms of his contribution towards Chemixil as well. We have Mr. R.K. Mishra, who's हम लोग अभी थोड़ी देर पहले यही चर्चा कर रहे थे, तो before commerce he was also he is from customs, he was at Navaseva, so he's been there, done that. He has such a wide ranging experience. उनका guidance भी हम बहुत ही उत्सुक है सुनने के लिए, and I'm sure all of you exporters will also benefit. हमारे पास narcotics से भी हैं, Chaudhary Sahab is there, and we are really eager to listen and benefit from this program today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, I will request Shri Brijen Chaudhary, sir, to please give an inaugural address. A special address, Sir Brijen Chaudhary, sir, is an IRS, Customs and Indirect Taxes. He is an officer of 2009 Indian Revenue Services Badge and is presently serving as a Deputy Narcotics Commissioner, Central Bureau of Narcotics, Gwalior, Government of India. During his distinct career, he has served in a diverse assignments in customs administrations, indirect taxation, and narcotics law enforcement, including postings in the Narcotics Control Bureaus, Service Tax, Customs Preventive, and GST formations. He has extensive experience in drug law enforcement, persecutor control, and interagency coordination. With his vast experience, we are all looking forward to sir's speech on what all can be done and how we can learn from it. Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, distinguished guests sitting on the dais, my colleagues from the department and other government organizations, and esteemed participants. It is my privilege to welcome you all to this workshop, All Voluntary Code of Conduct for Business in Chemical Sector. This is, I think, 4th or 5th workshop we are having with Chemixil. So this exemplifies better understanding, deeper cooperation, and a strong relationship between chemical industry and Central Bureau of Narcotics. As we all know, the chemical industry in India holds an important position in driving economic growth, technological advancement, and societal well-being. Its products and processes are integral to almost every aspect of human life, from healthcare to agriculture, from infrastructure to consumer goods, and so on. The contributions are immense and clearly visible all around us. However, with such great influence on human life also comes responsibility, especially when we talk about preventing the diversion and misuse of chemical substances for illicit purposes. Because the same chemicals that can fuel progress can also be exploited by bad elements for manufacturing of illicit drugs. Here, I want to underline the Central Bureau of Narcotics is fully committed to prevent the diversion and misuse of chemical substances. CBN is an apex regulatory agency of Government of India in the field of narcotic drugs, psychotropic substances, and precursor chemicals. The Bureau is dedicated to ensure the availability of substances for the public health, and on the other hand, is squarely dedicated to prevent the diversion of substances for drug abuse. Accordingly, CBN, by enforcing drug law in the country, plays an important role in the establishment of public health, rule of law, and justice. However, this is beyond doubt that success of any government regulation or any initiative increases many folds when it is supported by public's participation and voluntary compliance. Because voluntary compliance is much more than a legal obligation. It is a demonstration of ethical leadership and commitment to societal well-being. The voluntary compliance tends to build and nurture trust between industry stakeholders and regulatory authorities. Today's workshop, with participation from chemical industry, Central Bureau of Narcotics, and other government departments is clearly a step forward towards this mutual trust. In today's world where everyone is connected, we also cannot afford to work in silos. It is the need of the hour that authorities and businesses work in close cooperation. And that is why interaction like the one we are having presently becomes more important. Today, we are gathered here to share insights and learn from each other. The expertise and ideas shared today will certainly pave the way for meaningful outcomes. Thank you all for your participation. Wish you a very productive and insightful workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, I will request a keynote address by Shri Rajesh Kumar Mishra, sir. R.K. Mishra, sir, is an IRS and is a distinguished officer of 1995 batch of Indian Revenue Services, who currently serves as the Additional Director General in DGFT, Mumbai. With over 25 years of vast experience in tax administration, international trade, and high-level investigations, his stellar career includes leading operations as Commissioner of Customs at Nhava Sheva, India's largest container port. An engineer by training, he has held vital leadership roles across Directorate Revenue Intelligence, served diplomatically as First Secretary at Embassy of India in Kathmandu, and managed key additional charges like Director of Indian Institute of Packaging. For his exemplary devotion to duty, he has been honored with President of India's Appreciation Certificate and the World Customs Organization Certificate of Merit. With his vast experience and, of course, a prestigious career, we'll request sir to please come to the dais and give a speech. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Wagh, my colleagues from Exim Bank, Customs, CBN, the officers of CBN, and participants in this workshop. It's my pleasure to be amongst you. It's my mandate to be present wherever export promotion is an agenda. To start with the good news, India's export to Australia, which was at $4 billion in 2020-21, rose to $8.5 billion in 2024-25. That is an outcome of the free trade agreement that we signed with Australia. And the CAGR is 20%, which is much more than what our export growth has been over the years. The context is that the government can create environment and the mechanisms for increasing the export competitiveness. It is for the participants of the export ecosystem that they should join hands and use the opportunities. My address to you today is to highlight two issues. One is that the government is conscious of ensuring that your time is spent on business activities, and therefore all the activities of the government have moved on to the online medium. For example, the DGFT, my organization presently, is totally online. For no activity, you are supposed to visit my office. There's a notice in my office that you are not required to visit my office. The idea being that whatever facility, we are the service provider. Instead of that mentality of we are giving you permissions and all, we are here to provide all kinds of support. And therefore, you need to apply for whatever authorizations. Advance authorization empowers you to import goods without duty and utilize them for manufacture of export products. EPCG authorizes you to import capital goods without duty, custom duty, and manufacture export products and then fulfill the obligation of export. So these are the two flagship schemes of DGFT. Presently, we are in the midst of a major movement. The government is conscious of the difficulties faced by exporters. So after an extensive outreach and understanding of the export environment with all the stakeholders, including bank, RBI, Department of Revenue, the exporters, the export promotion councils, associations, and individual MSME and lower value exporters, it was considered appropriate that an export promotion mission for the first time in the life of our republic was launched a few months ago. It has an outlay of 25,060 crores over the next 5 years. The idea being that in the journey of an exporter or a willing exporter, budding exporter, whatever difficulties are faced by him, they need to be addressed in a more meaningful manner. So with this objective, we have come out with a scheme which talks about export promotion as a mission. My colleague from DGFT Mumbai will be addressing you in detail about the scheme, but to set context for that, it is important for you to know that this scheme has two sub-components. One is called Niryat Disha, which is sub-scheme number 1, which is expanding the holistic market access for the exporter. You would understand that market access, we are approaching market access from the point of view of export competitiveness. So the tariff reduction, tariff is in international market, custom duty is called tariff. So tariff reduction is one method of improving the landed cost of our exported products in a country of import, where we are wishing to export our products. So this Niryat Disha, which is a directional support expansion of the holistic market access, aims at increasing the market access support, which has been the traditional role of the export promotion councils, by increasing the number of exhibitions and the fairs, buyer-seller meets, reverse buyer-seller meets. The next one is the TRACE, that is Trade Regulation, Accreditation and Compliance Enhancement. This scheme empowers you, and I will request the EPC to bring out the number of tests like UK REACH and others, where the chemical industry may be facing difficulty in tackling the cost burden, and there a large proportion can be given from the EPM, and there we'll be making the life of the exporter easier. So the regulation accreditation burden can be shared by the government. Next one is FLOW, which is the facilitating logistics, overseas warehousing and fulfillment. China went into this model and created warehouses at the private level in Europe and other countries. Every time a warehouse is in a foreign country, your ability to fulfill a requirement in an importing country is that much faster. The lead time reduces. So in this you can create, and the scheme details will be shared in the afternoon, and you can create this facility and utilize it for your exports. The next one is LIFT, which is the logistics intervention for freight and logistics. For the hinterland supplies, the transportation cost also becomes a burden to the gateway port. So there we are trying to help this. And the final one among the market access help is InSight, which is integrated support for trade intelligence and facilitation. So there, you know that knowledge asymmetry needs to be addressed. If you do not know about a particular situation, you will not be able to tackle the situation and move forward. My advice to you is to go to the site called trade.gov.in in the lunch break, not right now, and have a look at it and be ready with your own understanding of the situation when at 2 o'clock or 2:30, my colleague from DGFT Mumbai will be addressing you, so that you can be finding it more relevant. So the government cannot reach to the individual exporter every time one-to-one. The methods of reaching out through the Export Promotion Council like Chemexil or the Exim Bank or ECGC, which are the important stakeholders in the export ecosystem, it is important for us to utilize these resources so that the message reaches properly and it is utilized by the people who need them most. It is not the major exporters who need the support of an Export Promotion Council. It is people in the MSME towards whom this EPM is addressed majorly. So these are the schemes where we help the direction of the exporters. The next one is Niryat Protsahan, which is driving the trade finance. Exim Bank is an important player in that particular setup. So the 5 schemes which are there are interest subvention support for pre and post shipment credit. So the credit mechanism facilitation is a major part of this export promotion mission, and amounts have been set aside. It's a very, very simple way of application. You go to the site dgft.gov.in and you generate a number, and that number you give to the financing institution, and that institution will be providing you the support, and they will be getting the reimbursement from the RBI or whichever mechanism they are going to be sustaining. The next one is support for alternative trade instruments, including factoring, where again Exim Bank is the constituent. The third one is credit guarantee for e-commerce exports. exporters rather. E-commerce export, you may not be knowing, is a major constituent of the world trade now. Any guesses how much China exports on e-commerce? Any guesses of higher side? Brijendra, any guess? China's export from e-commerce? Take a guess. I'm encouraging you. Okay, it is $300 billion. $300 billion of e-commerce exports from China. Our figure stands at 10 crores, $10 billion, sorry. So you can see that the world is moving towards fulfillment of requirements on e-commerce. For chemical industry, that may not be very pertinent. But even chemical industry, the business-to-business supplies, the supply chain is moving towards fulfillment at a short notice via e-commerce, especially for high-value specialty chemicals and others. So agency like Ship Rocket inside and others outside for outside exports, you can utilize the Dak Niryat Ghar Kendra. That is a postal department initiative which allows you to export something like 35 kg of consignment across the globe at costs which are more competitive than DHL. So the government, the whole ecosystem, as you see, it's a whole of government approach. We are aware that there are limitations to what a government agency directly can do. The idea is to facilitate creating an environment where all factors come into the place at the same time. So continuing with this credit guarantee for e-commerce exporters, if you have a consignment where you're an e-commerce exporter, then the credit guarantee of a higher level is provided under the EPM. And the collateral support for export credit, that is another scheme, and the support for emerging markets. So the details will be shared in the due course. I now move on to the approach of the government right now, where we had initially, before 2013, we had signed agreements with neighboring countries and developing countries. The approach now is that we have signed agreements with the developed countries. The logic being that a developed country provides you more opportunity for supplying goods of higher value, provided your quality is good. So with this philosophy, you would see that we have signed and with the India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, and it came into force seven days ago on 15 July 2026. So across the country, events were organized to celebrate this major event, a major opportunity for Indian exporters. And I would be now telling you about how a chemical sector, a sector with which you are concerned, and what are the opportunities which are available under the India-UK CETA, which is in force now. So today, if you want to export products to UK, going out after this workshop, you can enter into an agreement with a buyer-seller agreement with a buyer in UK and take benefit of zero duty on supplies to UK. So listen to what I am going to tell you clearly and try to appreciate what are the opportunities available. Chemical sector is one of the largest beneficiaries of the India-UK CETA, and similar studies you should do about other agreements also. There is a subject which is going on international trade, which talks about leveraging FTAs. So there are major corporations which set up manufacturing units in countries which can leverage free trade agreement. So if a manufacturer moves to Vietnam and Vietnam has an agreement with USA, which has a better duty differential and duty benefits, it is in the larger interest of that organization to set up a manufacturing base there. Getting this agreement in India's favor has been one of the biggest achievements of our government. So the tariff is virtually zero on India's supplies to UK now. Let us understand what the market is. So UK imported $62 billion worth of chemicals from the EU countries. European Union countries are in the vicinity of UK. So you can say that they have a transportation cost advantage and they are slightly more advanced manufacturing. But the negative is that they have a higher manufacturing cost, with the labor cost being high, with the kind of capital or with the land that is very limited and all. The non-EU supplies was $33 billion. We are talking about 2025 calendar year. So total import of $95 billion in UK of chemicals, out of which $33 billion is from non-European Union countries. Our export to UK is between 600 to 700 million dollars, less than $1 billion. And out of $25 billion of export, again, this is roughly 2 to 3% of our exports of chemicals across the globe. So there is a massive room of growth available for us. The major non-EU suppliers are US and China. Now, China has a problem. People want to move from China to China plus one strategy. And other countries have a cost disadvantage. We have a cost advantage. That is how we perceive the situation. So being a relatively smaller supplier of goods to UK is not a situation which is in our interest. Now, tariff is 2 to 6% to zero. 2 to 6% was the custom duty on an average on industrial chemicals. On organic chemicals, smaller number of tariff lines were having duty, but there were significant duties, which has gone down to zero. In organic duty on many tariff lines, it has gone down to zero. Petrochemical, reduced competitiveness. Total 1,206 tariff lines, the duty has come down to zero. We expect a 30 to 40% growth of export over the next few years. The strongest potential products would be alcohol derivatives, solvents, intermediates, and specialty chemicals, which will address the needs of water treatment, construction, electronic, and textile chemicals. The demand drivers in UK would be pharmacy, pharmaceuticals, paint, personal care, and plastics. So I'm giving you an overview of what the opportunity looks like if you are in a position to address that opportunity. And there the role of the Export Promotion Council is very vital in the sense that they should assess this situation, prepare a market entry plan for the exporters, and try to push this agenda. Because an exporter has so many things to tackle. He has to tackle manufacturing, he has to tackle finance, transportation, the logistics and everything. It is for us, the government bodies, including Exim Bank, and I will not ask CBN to do this, they are more of a regulatory function, but your approach also has to be pro-export only. This is how I believe, provided the compliances are made. So in that sense, when the world is looking for a China's alternative in some sense due to geopolitical factors, one of the most exciting aspects of CETA would be, this has a component called mutual government procurement access. So being in India, you can apply for tenders of government supplies. Now, world over, government is the biggest consumer. You would be aware of this. Although chemical sector is not as big as defense or construction sector, but even then, a substantial amount of goods are procured in the chemical sector also by the UK government and the PSUs there. So in a transparent and non-discriminatory manner, you can apply for various tenders. And there I would encourage you to look at water treatment chemicals, hospital, transportation, environmental chemicals, which can provide you strong long-term growth. As I mentioned, EU has a high manufacturing cost. China has its own geopolitical angles. India has the cost competitiveness, courtesy the free trade agreement with preferential tariff access. You have to satisfy the rules of origin. One more beneficial thing in this agreement is that you can self-certify the country of origin. So that is one improvement. Provided you fulfill the requirements of technical nature, the consumer will take your goods only if the goods satisfy their needs. So every time you supply goods, you have to look at the quality of the goods. People say quality is a cost. Quality is the biggest asset if you can satisfy that first threshold. So the UK REACH compliance, the product safety, labeling and packaging requirements, these are essential components of your preparation after you receive an order. The contract manufacturing for pharmaceutical companies, specialty chemicals, if you can establish some UK warehouses where you can address the short-term demand there, and custom manufacturing for UK chemical distributors. This can be a major growth agenda. I have tried to highlight a particular agreement which Indian government has signed after a lot of negotiation, taking India's interest into account, to create an atmosphere of hope and light in this difficult time when today also we heard about tariff being a factor. Now the world is of uncertainty right now, but the country which takes measured steps, and how does a country take measured steps? Country takes measured steps in the form of actions by the citizens of the country, citizens of both corporate and non-corporate types. So therefore the call to duty is now. Every time you export a consignment, you are an economic ambassador of the country. Ensure that that commodity does not suffer due to some technical or kind of dangerous situations like pharmaceutical export to Gambia that set us back by 5 years in the international market in pharmaceutical terms. We have to be conscious of our requirements to generate more profits and providing employment, getting foreign exchange. But all that is secondary to the name of the country. You must ensure that the goods which are being exported are of top quality. No corner should be cut in that sense. That is my advice to you. We are in the midst of a mission again as district as export hub. Many of you had heard about it. We are trying to target all districts which are having potential to export and trying to create a district export action plan. I would encourage ChemExcel also to take part in these deliberations. And in DGFT, we are holding a Jan Sunwai every day from 10:30 to 11:30. I encourage you to join that. It's a VC facility where a senior officer of DGFT sits down and addresses any concern to do with an exporter. With these words, I wish this workshop the best of luck. May it create more knowledge which is useful and which is going to help India become a major exporter in the chemical field. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. I would request Dr. Satish Wagh, sir, to felicitate the dignitaries. We will request Satish Wagh, sir, to please provide the memento to R.K. Mishra, sir. Request Wagh, sir, to please present a memento to Tarun, sir, DMD exam. Request Wagh, sir, to please present a memento to Brijendra Chaudhary, sir. Request Wagh, sir, to present a memento to Vishal Ganju, sir. Would request Vishal, sir, to please present a memento to Wagh, sir, as a part of ChemExcel. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will request the dais members to please move on to the stage. We will start with the presentation. We'll request dignitaries to please go to dais. Yeah, of course, after a photo shoot option. If you can please come forward. If the arrangements can be made on the stage, please. In the meanwhile, please request all the current present dignitaries and members to please go through scan the Exim Bank's annual export survey 2026-27. As I explained, this will help us in policy initiative as well as taking what the market feel is and what you all think about current structure. There is a questionnaire which will have very informative your views. If it can be please expressed by the way of a survey, we will be delighted. This exercise is related to how we can take your views, suggestions to the government for subsequent policy initiatives as well as changes and alteration that may be required which will suit the exporters. getting a hands-on experience of your people directly giving us feedback is always beneficial. We'll request all of you to please scan the code and fill the survey. Thank you so much.